Rahubat Yasar, Ake Ater Amtkum, Anuki Edyi Ba'atumre. I currently reside in Oklahoma City. It is known as being the Bible Belt. Some of us call it the buckle. It is very different living in Oklahoma City. I was first initiated as an Egyptian priestess here in Oklahoma City at the temples of Fahami, Isis, El, and Amun. That temple is no longer here. So it's different, being the only operative Nuwapian here in this part of the world. However, I'm always encouraged. I've been on this journey of realization of self for more than a decade. What I want to do with us today, family, is, again, we're going to start out by doing some extrasensory perception exercises. Of course, what you hear in the background are the old tones. It would be a delight if we had the new tones doing all of the anthem, the prayers, the chants, the supplications, all of it in the manner in which Panabab Yananan provided for us before his kidnapping. However, there are enough of us, I'm sure, that are musical, that are familiar with the tones, how to do the tones, how to sing the tones. And it would be so appreciated if you all would get together and work on that and bring that out to us again, so that we can feast upon the sounds and the tones of our own tongue. So I'm starting out again with the Zener, Z-E-N-E-R, with the Zener cards. They are only for exercising the extrasensory perception, your intuitive selves. There are 4 symbols and 1 sign. Please either write them down or draw them. In this deck, you have 25 opportunities to build trust. Build trust with your Natar Amun self and your Natar Tet Amun Tet self. Because it's all about trust. As you open your third eye, we're all basically intuitive. There's just so much chatter going on around us that we don't take time to tune them out. And once again, this exercise is not about perfection. It's only to begin getting you acquainted with the desire to open your third eye, your intuitive eye, your usa. And many of you know that there are many ways that this can be done. Please look for safe ways to do that, and always do them in an environment of pure ashuk. Today I am burning sandalwood. Sandalwood is very good for meditation, focus, concentration, things of that nature. I'm also, in my diffuser, I have some lemongrass that's real good for awakening the senses, you know, physically, mentally, as well as spiritually. I also have a little bit of frankincense and myrrh. That is my favorite scent, is frankincense and myrrh, that strips and uplifts. So I'm subject to always be burning that, whether it's in a diffuser or by stick incense. And try to make sure that when you're buying your incense, that your incense, it's not made from cow dung. Make sure that not only is the essence pure, but make sure that the stick that it's been dipped in, know what it comes from. Okay? So, you have 25 opportunities. Number your papers from 1 to 25. And I'm going to start off slow. For those of you, this may be your first time being introduced to me. Rahu Bad Zamal Nasureye Atun. My dear brother, friend within the Nuwapian family, I greet you and your household continually and always. You are always in my heart and in my thoughts. For those of you who don't know me, I have been a Nuwapian for more than 10 years. And I know that maybe some of you that may view this video have been there a lot longer, from the Ansar Allah days and even longer. I greet you as well. And I offer all of us, as Baba taught us, to investigate anything that you hear me saying. I was not raised in the manner in which you were by the master teacher. However, I was raised by the master teacher. Some of us are his children who come from other places, come from other schools, been taught by different masters. However, he has always had a hand in my training. The ancestors always have a hand in my training. Therefore, who can argue the matter? The master teacher, when we could write to him, I received a letter from him in 2007 after I had written to him. And now, I became a Nuwapian in 2005. However, I waited, and I had always been communicating with him ethereally. And when I finally wrote to him, he wrote me back, and he did let me know that he normally don't even respond to non-Nuwapians. Love him for that. However, he said that he felt me. And what I took that to mean is that he felt my communications to him ethereally. We can do that. He does hear us. He feels us. So remember that. And remember, I'm not the one to talk negatively to about the master teacher. At any rate, he wrote me back. He gave me a list of instructions. One was, of course, at that time to become a member of AEO. The other was to learn the language. The other was to feed the flock. Now, y'all know we're not easy to feed because of the manner in which the master teacher has raised all of us, collectively as well as individually. We are some very strong Nataru within Wunuwupu. Very strong. I love and appreciate that about all of us. However, we still have to learn to love and care for each other, to come together in pure Ashuk, to align ourselves always with pure Ashuk, knowing that we are never separate from it. We are always a part of it. And it is always a part of us. This we know. So if your papers are numbered now from 1 to 25, I'm going to raise up a card. I'm going to raise it with the backside facing. Remember, there's a lot of chatter going on within your mind. Your ancestors, so on and so forth. I need you to quiet that as much as possible. Remember these signs and symbols. There are 5 to each sign and symbol, totaling 25 in all. I will show you the card after you write down what you hear. what you feel. Some of you, what you know it is. Then I will show it to you. If you got it correct, if you trusted yourself, put a check mark by there. If not, pay attention to the number where there was a disconnect. It will tell you some things. Some days I do well, some days I don't. If you get 9 or more correct, you're definitely very intuitive, and I encourage you to trust your intuitive self. Strengthen that connection, and the only way to strengthen that connection is by trusting your knowing. The Master Teacher says our knowing is definitely alive. Okay? So let's remember that. Are we ready? And then we will move on. Today I want to talk to us about our RINs and numbers. Once again, the Master Teacher says when you want to have overstanding of anything, you have to know their numbers. Overstand it numerically. Okay? So, here we go. That's it, family. Tally up how many you got correct. I'm going to do it one more time. And this time we're going to go faster. This way, so you don't have the opportunity to second guess yourselves. Remember, it's about building trust as you open your third eye, your usa. Yes, and the master teacher also has a meditative square with the background is green and it's black. It may be referred to as the hallway of Yanun. It's also great for opening your third eye. And we're going to go a little bit faster, as again, to build trust. Number your papers 1 through 25. These are the symbols and the sign. Let's take a deep breath. Exhale. Take a moment to calm and center ourselves. Okay, let's begin. Faster this time. That was the last one, family. Please do the same thing. See how many you got right. Well, you trusted your intuitive selves. Pay attention to your numbers. We all know that the master teacher taught in codes. He taught in puzzles. So we have to go out and we have to search for that information. He always encouraged us as well to investigate everything that he said. And to do that meant you had to read other books in comparison to what he had written, what he was revealing to us as well. Sometimes I'm asked because I use other reference manuals to study with, especially with numbers, that do I feel that that's the right thing to do because it's not written by the master teacher. Let me tell you something. I'm sure that the master teacher instructed you all, us all. When I say you all, I mean those who have been here longer than I have. That information belongs to us. We taught everyone else. And then they went out and they disseminated and they did what they wanted to do with it. So when we go out and we reclaim what is ours, that's our science. It is ours. That was one of the major things that people used to always have, get a little tizzy about with the message of, oh, he's plagiarizing. You cannot plagiarize what belongs to you when you go and reclaim it. I don't care how long that particular culture, group, whoever has been benefiting from your culture and the sciences of your culture. When you go back and reclaim it, word by word, line by line, as well as expounding on the deeper meanings, the true meanings, which is esoteric. Remember, EXO. These are the things that has a lot of us confused, because we look at that as to be literal. Okay? And so we're always needing that guidance. Like people literally believe that the things that they read in their Bible, case in point, is the real deal. When even their own Savior, and Savior's always taught in parables. There's a reason for that. To be an ESO student of the Master Teacher, Rananaat, whom we lovingly also know as the head of our state, the Honorable Elect Grand Potentate, Dr. Malachi Zodok Kobina York Okran 33-720 Shaliowuluwupu. We come to trust in the revelations, the things revealed, the outformation, and then how it's put in formation to disseminate it to the nation. Okay? So it's a lot of nationality that we're dealing with. So let's keep all these things in mind, which could settle down some of the conflict that goes on in our family periodically. As an elder, I am 61 years old. I'm yet learning many things. I love to learn. I'm always looking for methods, healthy methods, to learn our culture and everything else going on outside of our culture as well. So let's remember that. Line by line, word for word. And then when he expounds on it in a manner that no one does. We all have our own way of expounding, but he is our warner. He is our messenger. So we pay strict attention to what he's teaching. He also encourages us to read information 9 times. And each time something will be revealed to you differently. We all have our own learning curve. Some learn faster than others. That's okay. That is okay. The ideal is to keep on studying, and the answers will be made clear to you. He always includes the answers in everything that he normally writes. So with that being said, I want us as a family to go back and search out the books and the scrolls where he talks about numbers. He spent a great deal talking about numbers. However, if you don't ask the question, then the answers are never given. So let us be searchers. Learn how. One of the things he put in the letter to me was, I asked him a question about the deity Anunu, because at the time my legal name is Nehetep Ankh Anunu Ta Nasert. And I wanted to know more information about Anunu, that great serpent with its tail in its mouth, and the serpent that serves Ra, Re, Reye. The serpent that serves. Remember that. Not all serpents, reptilians, don't get hung up. There are those who guard and guide that solar barge, making sure that it's not devoured and that it always comes out on the other side, strong, bright, and shining, ever effervescent. So, with all of that said, let's deal a little bit with numbers, and I will say what little bit I know about numbers, and continue to take notes or write it down. I said we're going to look at our RINs, and I'm not going to go like deep. This is just to get you curious in your knowing, to want to know, okay? Because we are a fact family. We are a fact family. In knowing that we give thanks and praises to the Nataru Tamu Nefuset or Nifuset, the constructs, the builders of all creation everywhere, air, earth, fire, water, whether we're talking about ether, at its highest, beyond what we can conceive in this realm, they are there. And they are ever present in our RINs. Ta mu nifuset. To my overstanding, as I was taught by other masters, greatly by High Priest Anubis Ketla in the Fahami temples of Isisel and Amun, and other study references. I'm always searching and listening to recordings by the master teacher, Panababyanenen, the man of many faces, the man of the hour, going back, listening for my answers, so that I can be in sync and in rhythm with Wunawap, Wunuwupu, and come to you speaking in a manner and in a way that won't spook you out, okay? Anyway, so we know that we're dealing with a base 9 system. I was also taught by a NASA scientist, a brother, back in the day, who came into the temple at the time and taught us the base 9 system. So one of the things I want everyone to do is, in a horizontal format, write the numbers 1 through 9 across your paper. Yeah, they tried to accredit this particular method to Pythagoras. So many of them say, oh yeah, that's when they try to get, feisty with you. Oh, that's the Pythagorean system. It's funny, isn't it? Very funny. That just when people say that, and if you know and have studied your own story, our story historically, obviously they missed the memo that said how they came into our temples to become learned men and women of their culture, taking back our sciences and translating it in their culture's language. They didn't get the memo. I don't even let things like that upset me. Don't you let it upset you either. So now, if you have your paper numbered 1 through 9 horizontally, I want you now to take the alphabets. And under the number 1, A. Under the number 2, B. Under the number 3, C. And go on across all the way out to the number 9. And this, I've heard it said that the reason why we don't have the Y in our Egyptian, EGY, and the master teacher put EGI, there's a protection, of course, that he says he has placed over that particular script. And I need you to do it all the way till you get to Z. Okay, so that means you're going to go zig, zag, zig. Okay? Done? Okay. So, when you're looking down at your paper, yeah, eventually I may get a bulletin board to write on, so that, and then set things up where we can follow each other easily. So, under the number 1, I'm sure you have A, J, S. Under the number 2, I'm sure you have B, K, T. Under the number 3, I'm sure you have C, L, U. Under number 4, you have D, M, V. Number 5, you have E, N, W. Number 6, you have F, O, X. Number 7, you have G, P, Y. Number 8, you have H, Q, Z. And there's only 2 letters under the number 9. That's I and R. Okay? Now, what I need you to do is write down, you can write your whole Ren out if you want to. But for simplicity, let's just write down our first name. I will write down at Yib. You write down yours, and then match the numbers up to each letter in your first name. Okay? And when you have that done, now we're going to calculate, tabulate. And there's all kinds of, the master teacher, he uses multiplication, and then he uses addition. Whenever there are numbers missing, that means that that's a subtraction. Okay? So, if you have your first Ren written down,